Well, General Motors just keeps ringing the bell. They need money? No problem. How much? Doesn't matter because it comes out of the taxpayer pocket. And guess what? The taxpayers, well, we're happy to help. So get ready for General Motors' next and greatest sweet deal of all. The U.S. Treasury is giving up $14 billion in tax revenue. That's right. General Motors posting its first profitable year since 2004. But they don't have to worry about annoying taxes because, well, they're not going to have to pay them. In fact, they're sheltered from taxes for years to come. On that, let's welcome Long Island auto dealer Jim Anderer. Jim, we've talked before. You got, you tell the audience about your experience as we were going through this meltdown and the government sort of dismantled the U.S. auto industry and put it back together the way they wanted it to look.
Right. Yeah, well, in my particular case, I had a very, very successful dealership, upper 1% in the nation. And during this Chrysler bankruptcy, there were politics involved. A lot of
when you say politics, what does that mean? That they knew what side of the political aisle you leaned on?
No. I don't believe in that story. But it was internal corporate politics within Chrysler. All right, there were the boys on the inside and the guys who really just wanted to conduct good business like myself.
But I don't understand. How do the boys on the inside, though, get the inside track, if you will? How does a guy in the top 1% lose his dealership?
Because our socialist president, Obama, created a situation, changed the laws, all right, made his own rules, gave other individuals the power to control certain things. So it gave Auto Task Force and corporate Chrysler people the ability, the power,
Jim? Now, how do you feel right now, Jim?
To terminate dealers that shouldn't have been.
I got that. How do you feel now when you see these guys rolling in the dough? I mean, do you feel like, I should have been part of that, or I could have been making more?
Charles, where's my bailout? Are you getting a bailout?
No, but I'm helping people buy Chevy Volts. I'm going to donate $8,000 to anybody who wants to buy a Volt out there.
Listen, this whole thing of these bailouts is ridiculous. It's absurd. It's destroying the country. All right, that's our reality. That's the time we live in right now, and it's not ending. Obama always finds another way, okay?
Wait, so it's not good it's not good that General Motors is profitable now? That's not good? That's not a good thing?
If they stood on their own, without taxpayer bailout money, would they be
Does it bother you that ExxonMobil doesn't pay taxes or a bunch of other corporations
don't pay taxes? Have you looked how much tax? ExxonMobil pays more taxes than Apple makes.
Do you know how many corporations skip taxes, don't pay taxes?
That is an
overseas corporations?
That is an absolutely insane statement.
You want to pick on General Motors that's finally showing profitability for the first time?
I'm not picking on General Motors. I'm picking on them asking taxpayers to bail them out.
Good, thank God we did.
Did you ever run a business?
Yes.
Okay. Were you profitable?
Yes.
You understand profit and loss?
Yes.
Did you ever get money from the government?
No.
If you started to lose money, would you ask the government for money?
That's not the issue.
It is the issue.
It was saving an entire industry. This was saving an entire industry.
Big to fail?
And how many jobs? And by the way, had you lost all those jobs, if you lost all those jobs, you'd be going after Obama even more for losing jobs.
240,000 good, hardworking Americans lost their job because of this socialist president.
It's not.
Hold on a second, Jim.
Don't talk crazy.
I want to bring Jim in here for a second. Jim, hold on a second.
No. We've got the lowest. He kept the tax rates for you rich people.
Guys, here's the real narrative right now. Here's the real narrative. And it's about bailouts.
Right.
And whether bailouts are working out. Now, what we have learned also overnight is that Fannie Mae needs more money. Freddie Mac needs more money, another $3 billion. They're into us for about $150 billion, going up to $400 billion. But the narrative has been that bailouts work.
Really? Who wrote that crazy memo? Because all we're doing is feeding the beast. And Alan wants to have a little cheerleading parade.
Yeah, that's right.
Look at them. Yay, GM.
You'd rather have them fail. You'd rather have them fail. And you'd rather lose the 250,000 jobs.
And now they have profits. And guess what? They're not even having to pay the taxes on it.
They will pay.
Oh, really?
And
they will pay. They're not paying.
If they had failed, it would have been a greater disaster. It would have been a much greater disaster to lose those millions and millions of jobs. And then you'd be yelling at the president for further job loss.
Leslie, I want to bring you in. Because it's getting, listen, it wasn't about millions and millions of jobs. It was about an orderly bankruptcy system that we've had in this country for a long time, and it works. There would have been debtor financing. It just would have been more private sector involvement instead of the government. We've got the government that's taken over automakers, the healthcare industry, financial regulatory reform, and that's why this economy hasn't moved. What do you think about that, Leslie?
Well, I think it's amazing that, this gentleman, no disrespect, sir, but, you call him a socialist president, but if he had offered you a bailout, you would have taken it, please. A. B, why is it always that General Motors bailout was a bad thing, but Wall Street bailout by those on the right who benefited from it was a good thing?
I would take a bailout if it was offered to me.
The president that signed into law the bailout of Wall Street, by the way, was not Obama, it was Bush.
Look at his history.
It was
Look at
Bush.
his history.
What
is his agenda?
Was Bush a socialist?
What socialism mean?
Yes, I do. Do you know what socialism is? Because clearly you don't.
Jim, I love your passion, but I got another passionate guy over here. Curtis, you've been too quiet in this.
He's watching the circus.
It's about bailout. What is it all about, Curtis? Is it about government control? Is it about bailout? Is it about the taxpayer always coming in on the short end of the stick?
The little guy always getting screwed, and the big boys always get their dough. Geithner, what does he do? And Bernanke, they stack paper.
Saving the country.
And then the banks and
Saving the
financial
country.
institutions pay no interest on loans. We should be getting interest on that.
Absolutely.
Big banks, big financial institutions,
I'll give you
0% interest. A guy like this can't even rub two nickels together. Why?
Hold on, Alan.
I'll give you
fair?
a handout right after
crippling
this.
hardworking Americans like him who's trying to make an honest living and isn't expecting to get a handout and an entitlement every time he can't.
You're just upset because General Motors is now profitable. They got to bail out.
I'm going to leave this, Jim. I want this to be the largest,
How is it a socialist?
We only have 30 seconds left, and I just want you to tell us before we go. All right, you've already expressed how you feel about the president. What do you think can be done now, to right this ship, or is it too late?
Well, first, get him out of office. That's number one.
2012.
Well,
Get
I'm
that
shocked
guy
to hear
out
you
of
say
office,
that.
number one. Let's get back to a Ronald Reagan-style government.
Please.
All right, let's reduce government big time, reduce taxes big time,
And have the
go to a
biggest-
flat tax, get rid of the IRS.
Reagan raised taxes, and he had the biggest debt and deficit in the history of this
Guys,
country.
we are going to leave it there. I really do want to give a special thanks, though, to Jim Anderer. And we feel your pain, and I don't think you would have taken the money. Up next, I pose a question on Twitter, and your answers to come on Follow the Money when we come back.